Sassy, moody, nasty. Act stupid. What's happening? What's happening? I'm a savage. Hey, classy, bougie, ratchet. Sassy, moody, nasty. Acting stupid. What's happening? What's happening? Yes. Yes, I was on that Megan and that B. That Megan and that B. Hey. I'm gonna have a kitty. It's not a hard enough now later, but it's not a chewy one either. They don't make now. They don't make anything like they used to. Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely, positively, nothing. All the process has been processed. We used to have to put our nail laters on heat to get them soft. Real talk. We could not do this. You could not do that to a nail later. The only reason that I'm not perturbed by being able to do that is because the ones that say chewy taste different. They taste almost like a Laffy Taffy. These still have the texture and the taste of an annihilator. Like they sat it on the heater already. Like they sit every pack on the heater. And be like, bump the people that want hard annihilators. They don't matter. Leave it up today. The people don't matter into who. I have to find a comfortable position because I got my Crocs on now. I already got big feet. I'm gonna have my Crocs on in a little space. I got my little stand so I can sit my mic on and my books and stuff. So it'd be like right in my space. And people just be trying to get in comfortable in their space. I'm earlier than I was last night, y'all. This is actually the time that I have set in my phone to go live. Howsoever, I'm thinking that the God might want me on earlier. When I was doing this back in 2020, I was on at 9 o'clock in the morning. I was only on Facebook at that time, though. But I was on at 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, because I had to be to work at 12. So I was up by 4, getting my study done. Get my study done, go live. Or, excuse me, get my study done, go exercise, come back, take a shower, go live. That's what I was doing, and that's where the goal is to get back to that place. The goal tomorrow, the goal for next week is to have my setup as to where I said I was going to be, how I was going to do it, like to speak about the political oppression one day. And look, when I tell you, I've been saying, okay, God, because I have it written down that God told me, and I apologize, in the commentary that I got it from, it says social oppression. But I can't imagine that social oppression and societal oppression are not the same thing. But yes, I've been saying for years now, Lord, where did I get it from? Because I know I have the picture in my phone. I took the picture when I studied it so that I knew that I would have that part at least as proof. But what I did not do back then was notate, or in the picture, I did not have where I found it. I took the picture of political, ecclesiastical, and societal oppression. Today, we're going to talk about where it came from, because God answered. Because I've been saying, God, show me where it come from for years since I initially, because that's been some years since I took that picture. That's been a little bit of years ago since I took that picture, and I just been like, Lord, show me where I got it from. Show me where I got it from. And that is the verse. Sometimes my verses repeat. What I'm thinking is I probably did it when I was just doing Facebook, because like I said, I've been doing this since 2018, y'all. So I probably did it when I was just doing Facebook. But God has brought me full circle, because we're going to talk about oppression. We're going to talk about oppression and just what oppression could possibly mean. Welcome, 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 y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Sylvie414, and I am Sylvie, your rough edge lady. It's coming to bring you some of that one in the middle. Why am I your rough edge lady? Because I'm rough. Rough around the edges. Probably never going to be totally smooth around the edges. So I am your rough edge lady, because I am a lady all the more. I don't always do things quite ladylike all the time, but for the most part, I am a lady. But welcome, 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 you guys. I hope you all have had a wonderful, wonderful day. My day, I had a doctor's appointment today, so I got up and tried to make sure that I got my reading for this part done, because that I get challenged with going live, and I'm praising God for that, because it'd be a lot of time especially when I was, because my doctor's appointments have subsided a little bit, but when they was heavy, it'd be a little difficult for me to just say I'm coming home and gonna get prepared to go live. So in my big girl draws, it's a whole new year. And I had said to the God on Monday, because I said I was going live all week, and I did not go live Monday because it was New Year's. I was like, okay, God, I promise. And you have to know, between me and the God, I don't make promises to the God. Why? Because I've made so many that I've broken. Period. I've made so many promises to God that I've broken, that I just stopped making promises. But I said, God, I promise I'm going live 4 days. So I'm 2 days in. And I'm thanking God for 2 days more. What was I about to say? I was about to say something. I don't know what I was about to say, but well then, let's go ahead and get into it. I ain't gonna be before y'all real long, because I just got a few dangs and stuff that people need to talk about, and then I'm getting up off this piece and get this makeup off my face, because it be hot. The makeup be hot. But I said, D God, you got it. You got it, and I'm gonna do it. You want me in the makeup? I'll put the makeup on. I'm gonna come on this screen and turn the camera on with the makeup on, so I could be looking the prettiest as I can. Ooh, because I just be wanting to be the comfortablest as I can. All right, y'all. Y'all see that title? What that man be looking like? What that man be looking like? You probably don't even want to know. But think about it before you be messing with that. Proverbs 30 and 31. Envy not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. So yesterday we was talking forward, and today the Lord got her talking oppressor, and guess what? They are related, because the next verse after 31 speaks about the frowardness of the oppressor. So yes, envy not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Genesis 14 and 14. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them into Dan. Abraham won't play in no games. He said, y'all got my nephew, and that's not finna happen. So he trained up all of his servants, and he say, let go. Let it right. We going to get my boy. We is going to get my boy. Now, the God said I had to separate from him so that we can have our space, so that we can grow and prosper the way we both needed to, and so that I can do the God things. But I'm going to get my boy. Now, why is he going to get his boy? Because one of his confederates, one of his people that he was in agreement with, you know, people that he can call on when he was ready to go get his boy, one of them came to him and was like, look, them kings over there in Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, your boy over there, he chilling for a minute. Like, he not living there. He didn't just go make camp in Sodom and Gomorrah. It said he was towards Sodom and Gomorrah is what chapter 13 said. But when it breaks it down here, it says that he wasn't an inhabitant of Sodom and Gomorrah. He was sojourning. He was on a temporary stay there. And so he didn't even have nothing to do what was going on in the country, and they just came and snatched him up. And Abraham won't for that. And then we have Surah Bakari 3:43, 629. That's the verse. I'm assuming 629. That's all I be saying about the Quran. That's all I be saying about the Quran. Every chapter is a book. Whew. That's why God told me to learn how to like to read. I read very well. I don't particularly always like to do it, not even for enjoyment. Reading was not my pastime. It was my mother's, it was my daughter's, it was my cousin's, it was my aunt. It wasn't mine. It wasn't mine. I'd rather write. I'd rather write than read. I'd rather write, sing, do math. Rather do anything than read. But God said read, and so read I do. Allah's apostle said, whoever has oppressed another person concerning his reputation or anything else, he should beg him to forgive him before the day of resurrection. Beg him. If you oppress somebody, you need to go to that person and beg for forgiveness. Period. Can you imagine the people? Can you imagine the people, the oppressor, the big and the mighty and the strong, want to go to the people that they have oppressed to say, I'm sorry? Can you imagine a slave master going to a slave and saying, I'm sorry? Because that would be on the biggest level of oppression. One of the biggest levels that just come to mind is going to be a slave and a slave master. You got to go say, I'm sorry? Yeah, right. How many of you think going to do that? But the Quran says you better beg of him to forgive you before the day of resurrection, when there will be no money. You can't pay your way out of it. You know, it's some people that be doing things and stuff. They don't never see no jail time. They don't never see no nothing because they got money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Hey, money. There will be no money to compensate for wrong deeds. You can't pay your way out of that. You can't pay it. It's a lot of people be paying, money get you out of jail. You see that on TV and in real life. Money get you, keep you out of jail. Not here, said the cat. Not here, said the Allah. Not here. But if he has good deeds, now if he was a slave master and he did good things, I think some slaves like their master. He won't an oppressor. He was kind of the person that is described like Abraham when he went and got his servants that grew up in his house, and take it how you want to. They were his slaves. They were his slaves because they said, it went on to say they were his property. property. Look, I was thinking about that real insert right here. Insert real quick. The phrase "the wife" burns my britches. I was thinking about it today because I've known two people to call their wives the wife. And it burns my britches because anything that you put "the" in front of in that way becomes a piece of property. So the wife, it's not like the little girl. Like you're speaking in a different term. When you talking about the wife, you talking about the possession. The little girl might be that little girl over there yonder. The wife is your possession. So the servants that he raised up in his house, they was his possession. So they, if he said, even if they didn't want to fight, you want to fight. That's my spiritual mother. I don't ever like to get off of calls with her. I don't look. There was a time, her and my oldest daughter, and she younger than me. I call her my spiritual mother because her wisdom is beyond her years, beyond my years. But I know I haven't been known to be distracted from this platform for those two. Many be 3,000 too, but because we don't talk as much, it didn't happen as much. So I had to learn. I had to let God know, I'm not going to be distracted for Boo and Daisha. Yeah. But if he has good deeds, those good deeds will be taken from him according to his oppression, which he has done. Ooh, I read wrong. If he has good deeds. No, I read right. That's saying we going to take those, we going to count them good deeds so it won't be as bad. Because then it goes on to say, but if he has done no good deeds, the sin of the oppressed person, everything that person that you oppressed has done, it belongs to you. Catch it. Catch it. If you is oppressing somebody and you do thee God, if you is oppressing somebody and you don't do thee God, I mean, you do dirt, you get dirt, karma, what goes around comes around. Like, we can talk about it on all kinds of levels that ain't religious. We can talk about it. Us can talk about it. You do dirt, you get dirt. If you ain't did no good, look. The God is a God of balance, a just weight, balance weight, all of that stuff like that. And God is saying, if you are an oppressor and you have good deeds, I can at least take some of the weight off of you. But if you don't got nothing good in you, so all I'm saying, if you are oppressing and you don't got nothing good in you, you might better go try to think about start trying to do some goodness. It might rub off on you. Like I talked about yesterday, the more you did that evil, the easier it got for you to do it. So then you were just sitting around eviling all day. If you're an oppressor and you don't want the weight of, because Lord knows if you're an oppressor, I can imagine that you have oppressed more than one person. Woo, can you think about if you ain't never did no good and all you did was oppress? All of the sin of all of the people that you have oppressed now belong to you. What a gift. What a gift. That's something else. Let's see. 1 Maccabees 10:4. For said he, let us first make peace with him before he joined with Alexander against us. Now, supposing, because I got bullied a little bit when I was little. Supposing you had to walk home every day and somebody just punched you in your face. I don't even know if I'm going to be sick. Somebody punched you in your face every day. And probably, let's see, maybe 2 years went by. They done punched you in your face every day. You have had to fight this person every day. I ain't just say they punched you in your face and you left. You have had to fight this person every day for 2 years. You ain't getting no break. And then they unalived your sibling. They unalived your sibling. They done punched you in the face for 2 years, made you ain't had no choice but to fight, and then they done unalived your sibling. Then they say, let us make peace with him before he joined with Alexander against us. This is Demetrius. This is who has been sending all the king's men. Demetrius is the king. He's been sending and sending and sending his men to do Judas and his brothers and their men in ever since they rebelled. They have since unalived Judas. But like I said, this is still the first book. It's still 3 more books of Maccabees. And the entire Maccabees is about the Hasmonean rebellion. So they rebelled for 4 books long. And Judas was gone in the beginning. I didn't even realize that. Like I said, I've read the books. I've read 3. I don't think that I've read 4. You can't find 4. You can't. I think you have to buy 4 or find what other holy book it might, because it's not in any of the ones that I find online. But Alexander, okay. So Demetrius was trying to get at Alexander. And he knew that if Alexander could get to, he was trying to get to Jonathan before Alexander got to Jonathan. But I just never understood. And Jonathan kind of went forward, like he didn't accept Demetrius's offer. I think because it doesn't really break it down, and I'm still trying to find out how to study this as well. But it says that there were hostages. So when Demetrius made the offer to Jonathan, let us join together, even though we did all of that to y'all, because Alexander's coming to get me, and if you don't help me, then I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna give you an army and all of your people that we still got hostages. It ain't even really been time, because we got your people as hostages, you know. We gonna let them go. We gonna let them go. So to me, Jonathan wanted to get his people free. So he was like, okay, I'm gonna do this for a split. But then Alexander came. Alexander came, and he was like, Alexander was a good dude. And so once Jonathan started speaking with Alexander, it was like, yeah, Demetrius, you good. You remember what all you did to us? I just needed to get my men out of your lockup so we can have more men. But he didn't even have those. He sent those ones home. But he had his men that were with them when they initially rebelled. Yeah. So he fought with Jonathan, and Demetrius was gone, but then Demetrius had a son that came later. So again, as I stated, it ain't over. But let's start with this Proverbs. The thought of strife. Strife was Proverbs 30. It spoke about. Hello. Oh, I done turned everything. Cousin, I got this thing on. Okay. I had to get that out of the way. The thought of strife leads to the thought of oppression. The verse before that is like, don't be out there causing strife with somebody for no reason. That seems like oppression. You out there bothering somebody for no reason. For what? For what? And that leads to the thought of oppression. It says you don't want to have any fellowship with those who outrage the general laws of I can't even talk. That woman done rubbed off on me today. You don't want any fellowship with those that outrage the general laws of benevolence and justice. That outrage. Benevolence is doing good. The oppressor wants nothing good. The oppressor is I told you, the next verse speaks about the forwardness of the oppressor. You don't want to envy this person. And you know, a lot of people do. When you looking at that money, when you looking at that lavish life, it said even those that are oppressed, you should not want to envy, which means, yeah, yeah. You see people that want to be like people they hate because they making a whole lot of money doing what they do. You don't know what doors they had to walk through to get that money, the things that they had to do to get that money, because they are the oppressor. Generally, when I went and looked up the word oppression in etymonline.com, it is associated with criminals. It is associated with deceit. And even in Strong's, because I couldn't find the exact one for this proverb, but in Strong's, oppress, to defraud, to violate, to overflow, getting deceitfully, and to do violence, to exercise undue severity in the use of power or authority, a crusher, a destroyer. That was etymonline.com. And it's also not just oppression can be sickness and grief as well. It can be oppressive if we allow it. Especially grief. I'm not going to say especially grief because either of them, but I said especially grief because I know the God said to me, I'm going to give you 90 seconds. And it's crazy because I just had the memory of that video where it said 90 seconds to sit in your emotion. And then after that, you choose what your day is going to be like. If your day bad, it's because you let it be. I promise you, I love you, dear heart. If your day is bad, it's because you have allowed that day to get a hold of you. Because somebody else could have gone through the exact same thing and not allowed that emotion. It's the emotion that keeps you down. It's the feeling. We talked about those feelings. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Feelings. On yesterday. And God does not want us walking in over excessive emotions and over excessive feelings. Because when you're walking in over excessive feelings, it's kind of easy to be oppressed. You're oppressed by your emotions right there. Right there. Let's see. It says, don't anxiously covet the booty. Don't be sitting around trying to want and hoping you can get all of the violently acquired things that the oppressor has. I know it's a fly Maybach, but do you know how he got the Maybach? Don't envy him, even if you are the oppressed. And I just said that. Even if you are, it's easier probably to envy. Even if you can't stand that you're being oppressed. You got that thought process, I'm going to be like that one day. I ain't even got to worry about it. I'm going to be him one day. Remember? He going to be begging at the end. He going to be begging. He going to be begging people like you. You sure? You sure? Should you want to be him? So you want to be begging people like you? I mean, IJS. 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 I'm going to watch him one time, Lord. It referred to him as a man of violence, one who grinds the face of the poor. Do you know what happens when something gets ground? You sure can't put that back together. You can't put a peppercorn back together after it get ground. Your face in pieces. Your face in pieces. Said his conduct is rapacious. I liked it, that word. It's rapacious. It is aggressively greedy. He want it all. Just like that forward person. They don't just want to just be out there eviling all day. They want you to evil, and they want to watch you evil because it makes them go, ooh. They just want to watch you evil. He just wants to be aggressively greedy. He wants to be violent and he wants to be unjust. Now, if that's what you want in life, if you just want to be aggressively greedy, violent, and unjust, have at it, because just woe to you at the end. I really don't think nobody slip away. I don't think nobody slip away in life or in death. I think this is a spiritual world, and I think you don't get away with it. We may see, we may feel like somebody is getting away with it, but the commentary went on to say they don't even like themselves. They just have a goal in mind. And some people, once they get their goal in mind, they're going to do it. I said that last night, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Motivated, determined, disciplined to get that evil on done, to get that oppression on done. Let's get her done. Welcome, 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 you guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Leslie said, choose none of his ways. None of his ways. Do not try to go down that path to acquire your wealth, your greatness, or your power. Because you're going to be wearing sins if you don't. You is going to be wearing sins, buddy. If you're going to be doing that, you might just want to go get one person to, Lord, forgive me for that. I mean, the more folks you oppress, the more that you have to concern yourself with being accountable for their mess. I know they're going to be breathed like, whoo, I ain't got to worry about that. Oh, because my oppressor got, whoo, jeez, oh, Lord, thank you. My oppressor got that one. Okay, then, God. I'd rather be that person. I'd rather be that person. Let's see. It says, don't acquire their hatred. Don't acquire their hatred and don't be jealous of them. I said it last night. Kanye West said the people highest up got the lowest self-esteem. The people highest up, that means him. Pretty sure he's somewhere up there in 1%. That means people like Jay-Z and Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, and all, they're the highest up. It's probably people higher than them. They're the highest up in our faces. The next commentary called him a common character. And I said they think they special. They think them daggone oppressors be thinking they be special because they got the money that they ain't gonna be able to use when they got to stand in the count and be having to worry about getting oars of the sins of all the people they oppress. Money! Yeah, no. He's a common character. The oppressor oppresses politically, socially, and ecclesiastically. And if someone is oppressing, okay, ecclesiastical, because I need y'all to catch it. We're not talking about unsaved people. We are talking about the oppressor that is oppressing politically, socially, and ecclesiastically. What might it mean to oppress ecclesiastically? We ain't gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. He is not to be envied. Why? Because if you envy him, then you're still just like him, because envy is evil. Said that his conduct is rapine. That's violent. No, that ain't what it said. I don't know what it said about rapine, because I just wrote rapine, but I wrote what it meant. It meant that it's a violent seizure of property. And this is where it says he is far from being a happy man. He's far from being a happy man. Is he too busy out there trying to oppress? I'm pretty sure that's hard work, I guess. Who knows? And then let's look at this Genesis. It said that Abraham had no less than 2,000 men. And that was because it said that God blessed him. Yesterday, when it was talking about the separation, it talked about that God had to, when it talked about how Abraham was feeling after the separation, it said that God had to come comfort him because he was having a hard time with being away from his nephew. Like, they had been together forever. They left home together, and now we got to separate because we too big for each other, and God needed us to separate. So God blessed Abraham because it said that he had, great-hearted generosity. I think it said great-hearted generosity. And so because of that, after the separation, and because of that, God blessed him. So he got more than 2,000 men, no less than 2,000 men. It said that the one commentary said Abraham was getting ready, and all. When it said that, all I thought about is this dude strapping up. He putting on his armor belt, his belt, got his knives in it. I said to the Lord, he might got some pebbles in it, like Goliath had. Like, I don't know what they used back then. I know they ain't used no gun. He might have had a bow and arrow on his back. Like, this dude was getting ready. I'm going to get my nephew. You is getting ready to come up off of my peoples. Y'all's about to come up off of my peoples. Period. I'm going to get my boys, and we coming at you. See, he ain't did nothing. Y'all have no reason to have them. And I'm thinking that this taking had to come because it don't really explain it here. But you remember yesterday in the Quran, when I was reading about Iblis, I didn't know, like, that was 90 verses in that. It went on to start speaking about Abraham and Lot and the mighty blast, and why the mighty blast had to come, and Lot trying to give his daughters to these crazies that's trying to get these men. That was not, I said that yesterday, and I'll say it again. That was not about being gay. That was about being an oppressor. It said oppressor, criminals and grapists. They was trying to grape those men. Those men did not want, that was nothing willing. Oppressive of the ecclesiastical kind, because all my life, it just makes you think that Sodom and Gomorrah was just out there LGBTQing. Out there LGBTQing. No, that's not how the Quran just broke it down. Just like I said, that young lady who called that I just didn't take. She's the first person that taught me that. When I read that yesterday, because I was totally blown when I found out that Iblis was Satan. Like, I didn't know where I was going. All I did was chose a verse. When I got into that whole chapter after choosing that verse, found out that Iblis was Satan, and God said, get out, but then I'm going to let you mislead the peoples, until the end and everything like that. And then we get down here and talk about Lot and Abraham, and Lot was trying to protect his men that he had invited over. And the peoples was not trying to let them be protected. So that would be where Abraham stepped in and said, I'm going to get my boy. Because that's when they're going to leave that jank. And then poof, the mighty blast, and then Lot's wife, because she didn't want to not. Because the Quran talked about Lot's wife too. Lot's wife, she didn't want to not. She wanted to be in the mighty blast. So the God didn't blast her, but he sure disintegrated her. IJS. And get what? some of them same dudes that caused the separation. The herdsmen. Abraham said, we going to get my boy. Whatever issues y'all had, We going to get my boy. So I don't need for those issues to be following us to go get my boy. Period. Said he trained the people that he was taking, he trained them all up. That was for the protection of his family and substance from the oppressor. Didn't know I was going to find oppressor in the Genesis. It wasn't in the verse, but it was in the commentary. See how God be bringing it back? God be bringing it back. God be bringing it back. And I thought he brought it back in a number, right? Because I wrote down some numbers. The 414. I think I've talked about that before, but this word is we talking about Sodom and Gomorrah. So the name of this platform, that Sylvie414, G414, is bearable and tolerable. It will be more bearable or tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah than it will be for you. And the reason that I take that is I say, for me, if I don't get right with the platform, and that's why I've been making sure that I get consistent, because God said it'd be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah. And the Hebrew of it is oak tree, strong, strong. But then, you know, I talked about the Adar. We getting ready to talk about that Adar. But before we talk about that Adar, I also went in and just really quickly looked up the 441. 414, 144, 441. Now, when I got to the Hebrew, it said aloof. That's the name. That is the word that's associated with the number 441. It's actually the the Hebrew word, but I did not go in to get what the human word is, but it means I did. It means friend. It means friend, but the actual Hebrew word says aloof. So when I read aloof, I was like, "Oh Lord, I just read aloof." And aloof is basically what they say to the Capricorn is very, very stoic and standoffish and all that stuff like that. But it said standoffish, stand off from the oppressor, be aloof from him. That's what the so I was just done when I saw aloof when I went and looked up 441, but it basically means friend. G441, studying to please men please, people pleasers. We're not supposed to be pleasing the peoples. We are only supposed to be pleasing the God. Now let's start with 144 Adar. I said that I was not going to not tell anybody Happy New Year because that felt very blunt and brash, and it's one of the purposes of me being in therapy because I know that I'm brash. Even though somebody felt the need to tell me something I already know about myself. I know it. I wasn't going to say Happy New Year because probably since about 2018, 19, when I started, I don't think that I looked up all of the interchanges for the 414 immediately, but I think I started seeing them, and that's what made me go look up the other two. And so when I found out that the 144 was Adar, and it said in Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, it tells you that Adar is like between March and April. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean to me? And I just kept trying to think things. And you know, my aunt's birthday is in April, and that first year, like, she started going through a thing in April. Like, when I tell you I have been on this for years, trying to, what does this mean to me, Lord? And then I got a video on TikTok that talked about the new year and why it didn't make sense. And this was from study. Why it didn't make sense. Everything's dying when the new year comes. And started speaking about why, time and how there really is no time and how we have so many different calendars. God don't do time. God don't do time. We do time. That young lady said that the new year starts around March or April, when the flowers start blooming. Around the time that it said that it's really Jesus's birthday. I watched this young lady named Coley Cole. She's a little bit of a comedian on TikTok, and she judged prom dresses back at prom season, and so they wanted her to judge the Christmas trees. And so she said, when I watched the video last week, she said, I said I was gonna wait till after Christmas because I ain't want nobody trying to get my page struck or nothing like that. So when she said, I said I would wait until after Christmas. We go with the flow, and we go with what we learn so much that we just believe it and say it's okay, even if we don't believe, even if we know that it's not true. We say it's okay for whatever reason. I have talked with Christians who say it's okay to be unhealthy because Jesus gives us grace. Does that make sense to you? I have talked to Christians that rationalize Christmas. And all I said was, seem like Jesus probably sad over there on his birthday because don't nobody really celebrate it. We don't celebrate his birthday. We celebrate Christmas and say it's Jesus' birthday, and we don't even really do that really right. Because we still be about the material part of it. I don't care how much we say that we don't. My aunt gave me a I love you. I promise it was the best Christmas gift that I had. And I had to break it down to her as to why, so that she wouldn't be offended. But what if God is offended? What if God is offended that we are celebrating Christmas? Because that's not our own working out our own salvation with fear and trembling. That is something we do collectively as an ecclesia and say that it's okay. What if God say it's not? What if when you know how we just talked about that oppressor? What if that's you? Because then somebody under you was oppressed because you taught somebody. There's no freedom in something that may not be true, but it's given to you as true. You don't become free until you know that that thing is not true, and you make an active, an informed decision to go forward in it or not to. Then you become accountable. What if God said, we're not supposed to be, this not when y'all supposed to be celebrating the new year. This not when y'all supposed to be celebrating Jesus' birthday. Remember man pleasers? 441, G441. If we celebrating birthdays because that's what you learned, that's being a man pleaser. Because have you even went to God and said, God, would you like for me to celebrate Jesus' birthday when it might be? Closer to when it might be, because they talk like it's somewhere over here in the spring. You can give him a springtime celebration all spring long. He deserves. Deborah Jean used to celebrate her birthday for a month. Why can't Jesus celebrate his for 3 instead of on one day that don't belong to him? So I will be Adaring. I said Happy New Year on January the 1st. I said I was just going to say Happy January, but I felt like I was going to be being very, very ignorant. But I'm just putting it out there. I'm probably going to be saying Happy New Year again. For real this time. Because my desire is, God told me I couldn't people please. I couldn't man please. And that has been one of the hardest things. God know. God know. I please the peoples. And God wants me to please the peoples his way. Not through what might be a lie. God told me these things and brought them back to me in the new year. Brought them back to me in the new year. And that video about Adar was one of them. I watched it on New Year's in my memories. I watched it on New Year's in my memories. And when I went to journal this, oh my God, I was going in to journal that God wanted me to research the foundations of Christianity. The foundations of Christianity go further back than slavery. And God wanted me to speak about Adar, because I got those two videos, the foundation of Christianity and the Adar. But when I came to journal it, and I wrote down the date and the time, the date was 12/31/23. Excuse me, he gave me those right at the new year. I apologize. 12/31/23 at 1:23. Do you know that I just said 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3? Write it down. You'll see. 12/31/23, 1:23. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So then I had to go and look up 1, 2, 3. Even though I knew that I had looked it up before. I know when I've looked up a number before, but God be bringing me numbers, and I don't always remember what all of them mean all at the same time. I'm trying to get this thing together. But this number means Edom, Edomites. The Hebrew and the Greek means the sea, a beach, or a shore. Now I'll bring Edomites into it because I also believe that that is a part of ecclesiastical oppression. Edom and Israel were at odds, even though they were brothers. We were out here odding with everybody. You're odding with the Muslims. You're odding with any religion that is not your religion. But you be loving on them Edomites. Now you must figure out who the Edomites are to you. Because I'm not going to go so far into it because I have not done study on it very well. This is what I know about Edom, or Esau. That's Jacob's brother. He gave his birthright away for some food. Then he got upset because he gave his birthright away for some food. Jacob had to get out of there, but Esau was going to get him. And even when he came back, after he had spent all of those years with his uncle Laban, trying to do him in and get over on him, then he came back and was concerned that his brother was still going to kill him, unalive him, so he had to separate his army. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he did see him. And I think they acted a little bit like brothers, but that didn't make things cool. Edom and Israel were at odds. I'm going to leave it at that because I believe that God is going to open it up some more from here. I just wanted to bring what I believe the Most High brought me to bring. Hello, beautiful. What kind of company you keeping? Who you keeping that company with? Is it an oppressive situation, beautiful? Is it defrauding, deceitful, violent, any of those things? Because the God says, stay away from the oppressor. Whoever the oppressor may be in your life, whatever, because it also lists oppression as sickness and grief, whatever or whoever the oppressor is in your life, beautiful, let it go. Sylvie, love you, baby. and I am out.